Преди време направих едно предизвикателство, в което обработвах видеа с CapCut и ги разпращах наляво и надясно. Сега събрал съм всички видеа, които направих през този период и съм ги сложил в една компилация, от която можеш да научиш не само за видеообработката, тъй като може да се вдъхновите за някои техники, които съм използвал, но пък може и да научите нещо за имоти, тъй като по-голямата част от тези клипове бяха за хора, които се занимават с имоти. Ще се радвам да чуя вашето мнение за самите видеа, дали ви харесва, дали не ви харесва, дали има нещо, което ви е впечатлило. А казах ли, че всичко е обработено с CapCut? Мисля, че да. А пък ако ти имаш нужда от кратки видеа за твой личен бранд или за бизнес, може да свържеш с мен в Instagram или чрез имейлът, който съм оставил в профила ми в YouTube. След това кратко интро. Пожелавам ви приятно гледане, настанете се и ще се радвам да чуя вашето мнение по клиповете, които съм направил.
Would you trade $160,000 for $400,000? Right now, California is going through a real estate gold rush, and what it is maybe something that you aren't thinking about. Because it's not a real estate gold rush of property selling, it's not a real estate gold rush of some massive economic boom or development boom. What we are experiencing right now in California is
you want to get a second citizenship to make sure that you're not just, stuck with one passport, one country. Check your family tree. A lot of people, whether they're from ancestors from Europe, from the Caribbean, from Latin America, those are the big ones to look at. You can go back 1, 2, 3, even 4 generations and get a passport. We do a premium service, maybe $10,000 or $12,000, but if you want to just do it yourself, it might be a little bit of a slog or it might not.
Especially in the beginning of your journey, you want to spread it out more and you want to be more heavily weighted towards cash flow. And then later in your journey, you can actually spread it out amongst your portfolio instead of amongst the property. So you may have a foundation of cash flowing properties, and then you get into stuff that you can buy for the purpose of depreciation to save money. And then you get into stuff that you buy for the purpose of appreciation. And the cash flow that you bought in the beginning shelters maybe cash flow you're not making on the stuff that you bought in areas that are going to appreciate. And the appreciation shelters the fact that the cash flowing properties are never going to make you wealthy. And you get a nice, well-balanced diet that turns you into someone who is just as wealthy as you, Rob.
The amount of value that we provide the marketplace, our income equals the amount of value we provide. Us. We got to go out and earn it. And so we need a plan. So do this exercise with me.
There's two things that drive evaluation. First one is the size of the profit. The bigger the profit, the bigger the business, the multiples go high. The other thing that drives valuation multiple is the sophistication of the business.
Why you should stop making limited liability companies the beneficiary of your land trust. People are setting up land trusts and they continue to want to make their limited liability company the beneficiary. If you have a land trust and you have property in it and the property is sued, that means a tenant slips and falls on the property or something happens and they sue that land trust. The beneficiaries are going to be liable. When they look at this trust and they see this limited liability company, it starts to complicate things for you.
Kokinu, a meme coin which I spoke about yesterday, is up 21% today. We have Moonwell. This is a project that I don't think I've ever heard anyone else talk about this. It's up 30% today. And you would know if you were in my private group, for example, or you've been following this channel, that I have been dollar cost averaging into Moonwell throughout the bear market.
The very tough sometimes lessons of leadership inside your own business is pretty much the most essential requirement for having a peaceful, profitable, and predictable business that sustains over time.
Bank, insurance, retirement, or a pension. All this industry is doing is just merely taking a fee off of the money you're making already. This entire system is just all about sales and marketing, and they're convincing you that they're better at managing their money than you. And they could be, but that's your job, is to figure out how to take this money and invest it here and bypass these folks. And if you do that, you'll become wealthier faster.
When you start buying real estate, you own a business. And when you own a business, there's 250 different tax write-offs that you're now entitled to. All of a sudden, you use your phone for real estate, write that off. You use part of your mileage, your vehicle, write that off. If it's leased, you can write off the entire thing. If you use a part of your house or your rental for doing your real estate, you can write off up to a certain percentage of that. There's 250 different write-offs. And so just having a business period starts that tax game winning in your favor.
There's a surprising amount of inefficiency left in this world. Everything that we've touched
there have been massive inefficiencies. Think about it this way. If we woke up tomorrow and we were like in a socialist environment and everybody's like, you get your $1,000 a month or whatever and live in this pod. Well, how are you gonna make money? The only way you can make money is provide value, but if everybody has the same value, there's nothing you can do, and it's depressing. It's kind of like, well, what's the point? Cool thing about being an entrepreneur is you get to find areas where there are inefficiencies. And I'll tell you, there are inefficiencies in everything. Accounting, financial advice, real estate, lending. We're doing a fundraise for my real estate startup, House Hack, and the company that's doing the fundraise. I mean, like, I like them, but I have to say there are a lot of inefficiencies. I'd say it to their face too, so it's no secret. And that's actually motivating because as an entrepreneur, that's what you want. If everybody else is doing it, there's no money to be made.
What inspired me to go online was 3 things. It was scalability to make more money, time freedom so I could work when I want to, and location freedom. I could work where I want to as well. I'm a hustler, so I'll work 60 hours a week regardless of what industry I'm in. But now being able to, if I wanted to go for a week in Miami and run my business, I could do that and create content at the same time.
I'm one of very few people who took 3 software products from 0 to 100 million. I built a portfolio while working full-time of 180 units, no JVs, no partners, none of that stuff. I grew a YouTube channel with 0 edits, 12,000 videos, 0 edits. I don't play around.
Developers overbuild. This is what happens. And so the time in which it made sense to build because the return supported it because of the demand being, higher than supply. The second it's oversupplied, what happens? You're no longer leasing up. When you're no longer leasing up, what do you got to do to rents?
Drop them.
Drop them.
Most real estate investors that are using the burst strategy died. Why? Because they rely on banks. I have not used a bank in the last 2,000 doors we've put in our portfolio. We don't rely on banks for any of our, even the house that I live in right now did not rely on a bank. I took over an existing payment and the seller gave me seller finance at 0% interest. You can't do that in the burst strategy. So it's not timeless.
There is a new strong player in the European golden visa market. A new member of the Schengen area has a permanent residency program that leads to citizenship with no physical presence requirements. You're getting an EU passport and you're getting immediately European permanent residency, which you can use to travel through the Schengen area in a traditional non-woke country. Bulgaria now wants to take over the golden visa market.
What if I could show you just how to wholesale 1 or 2 properties in 1 year and show you how to pocket $25,000 to $30,000? Is that something you'd be interested in? Because I've done it for 20 plus years. In fact, I make millions of dollars doing it.
I recently uninstalled all social media from my phone, and it hasn't been like a big life change, but I've had like these little peaks where it's like, oh, I don't really care about what other people do anymore, or I don't really care what people think of me today.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the reason why I don't use a phone. I have my phone's turned off. I don't really use social media. That's why it takes me days or a week to text you back sometimes, just because I don't use it. And I think the only way to get there to the extreme level that we're talking about is eliminating all exterior things that are not what we want. Because if we're constantly getting downloads of all the, you should want this too, all comparison then leads to attachment, will lead to desire, which, it's just a domino effect. So it's eliminating a lot of that stuff that we don't actually want.
We just sold a $15 million townhouse through TikTok, through video. We list properties for over $100 million and we get clients through YouTube, because when you create quality content, especially for real estate, it drives buyers. We reach most people now through their kids. Kids have influence over the parents, and we're the only company that's doing it, which is why I think we sell so much.
I think the biggest thing that holds people back is the fear of like someone they know will see it and then laugh at them. Or they're scared of like a coworker seeing their stuff and then ratting them out to their boss and then getting in trouble for that. My bosses, they found out, they're like, oh, Sean, you have a side hustle? Amazing. Like, that's so cool you have this on the side. Just don't do it during work hours. And then when it comes to like being embarrassed by friends or family, people in general are so busy caring about themselves that they don't have enough time to care about you. So don't worry about that, right? And if you post something that embarrasses you, there's so much content out there that people will quickly forget what you did within just a few weeks. So again, don't worry about it. People don't care about you as much as you think you do.
Most people think that they're investing in the real estate, but that's not true. You're actually investing in a business that just happens to be tied to real estate. Your tenants are your customers. The housing, if it's an apartment building, is the product. And what's one thing businesses do really well? They earn a profit.
Do you know that your attitude towards money and risk shape the way that you invest? What are your thoughts about money investing? Do you believe that money is good, or do you believe that money is dangerous and evil. Are the only people who are getting rich are those who have ripped people off, or is building wealth a fair outcome for hard work, skill and diligence? Is investing just a way for the rich to get richer and the poor to get poorer? Or can anyone have a go? Depending on your answers to these questions will likely determine if you can become a master of money or money will become a master of you.
Grind can get you successful. But when you are aligned, I noticed when I'm aligned, like I said on stage, I left Phuket one day before the tsunami hit Phuket when I was there 8-9 years ago. I left Japan one day before the earthquake just happened, right when I left this on January 1st. I missed one car in a car accident. I found a deal where it's the perfect seller. When I'm out doing videos, it always happens to be on days that it doesn't rain in Seattle. I raised $1 million last year to donate to charity, and it happened to be easy and effortlessly because I'm doing things for the right reason and it's flowing. And I just think that when you're in a line, everything, the right people lined up, the right timing lines up, the right opportunity lines up, and it's effortless.
Securing financing remains one of the biggest hurdles for commercial real estate investors, especially if you're just starting out. Traditional lending sources like banks have strict qualification requirements, like solid credit scores, considerable cash reserves, proven experience managing an investment property, and more. So how else are you supposed to get started? Well, for newcomers to commercial real estate investing, it can seem almost impossible to get that crucial financing to purchase your first property. But there are creative financing strategies that you can use to get around these conventional barriers.
Това бяха всички видеа, които съм обработил. Действително не са много, но за 30 дни се понасъбра едно количество и се радвам, че мога да направя такъв клип, в който да ви покажа абсолютно всичко, без да си спестявам някакви видеа или нещо. Така че надявам се да са ви харесали. Ако искате и вие да се научите да обработвате видеа, не забравяйте да ме последвате, да гледате видеята и да задавате въпроси, защото аз отговарям на въпросите. В скоро време мога да направя нещо по-така интересно, по-интерактивно, но наистина имам нужда от малко фидбек, да знам дали се харесва, дали не се харесва и в каква посока да тръгна. Така че оставете един лайк, коментирайте това видео, абонирайте се за канала и ще се видим в следващия туториал, който ще излезе в събота.